When we talk about growth and expanding our thoughts, one of the most powerful ways to do that is by surrounding ourselves with people who think differently than we do. It's easy to fall into a circle of comfort where everyone agrees with you, where everyone shares your same values, your same experiences, your same worldview. But the problem with that is it creates a bubble that insulates you from the vastness of what's possible in this world. It limits your vision, narrows your understanding, and keeps you operating within the same mental framework you've always known. To truly force yourself to create new thoughts, you must deliberately place yourself in the company of those who challenge you, those who push back against your ideas, those who have lived lives that look nothing like your own. This might mean engaging with people from different cultures, different professions, different backgrounds, or even different generations. Because here's the thing, when you're always surrounded by people who think just like you, it becomes difficult, almost impossible, to break free from the constraints of your own thinking. You end up reinforcing the same ideas, nodding along to the same conversations, and staying within the boundaries of your current mindset. But when you invite diversity of thought into your life, you're forced to confront new perspectives. And in doing so, you open your mind to a world of possibilities that you might never have considered on your own. Different thinkers bring fresh energy, new angles, and innovative solutions to the table. They see the world through a different lens, and that lens can help you to reframe your own ideas in ways that are transformative. It's not always easy to sit with people who challenge your thinking. In fact, it can be uncomfortable. It can be frustrating. It can even be intimidating. But that discomfort is where growth happens. That's where your mind stretches. That's where new thoughts begin to form. And those new thoughts, those shifts in perspective, can lead to breakthroughs in your personal and professional life. You see, different thinkers are like mirrors reflecting back to you the limitations of your own views. They force you to question what you've accepted as true, to re-examine your assumptions, and to think critically about the way you move through the world. They force you to be adaptable, to pivot, to reconsider. Different thinkers expose you to ideas and experiences that you may never have encountered otherwise. Maybe it's a colleague who approaches problems from a completely different angle than you do, someone whose logic and reasoning seem foreign to you, but whose results speak volumes. Or maybe it's a friend who has traveled paths you've never imagined, bringing back lessons that challenge your deeply held beliefs about what's possible in life. Or perhaps it's someone from an entirely different generation, someone older who can offer wisdom gained through decades of experience, or someone younger who sees the world through a fresh and fearless perspective, unburdened by the limitations that come with time. These different thinkers are gifts in your life, not because they agree with you, but because they don't. Because they see the world differently and they force you to widen your scope. When you engage with them, you start to realize how vast and varied the human experience truly is. And from that place of expanded understanding, new thoughts emerge. It's through dialogue, debate, and sometimes even disagreement that you grow. Different thinkers offer you the chance to see beyond your own biases and step into new ways of thinking. When you surround yourself with people who challenge you, you're constantly being stretched beyond what you already know. The beauty of this process is that it keeps you from becoming stagnant. It keeps you from becoming too comfortable in your own worldview. You're always in a state of evolution, always learning, always growing. And that's what life is about: continuous growth, continuous transformation. Different thinkers are the catalysts for that change, the fuel that ignites the fire of new thoughts within you. They push you to expand your horizons, to rethink your approach, and to reconsider the possibilities that exist in your life. Feeding your mind with positivity is not just a nice idea or a feel-good concept. It's a deliberate and powerful practice that shapes every aspect of your life. What you put into your mind becomes the foundation for your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. Every single day, we are bombarded with information from all directions: what we read, what we watch, who we listen to. This constant stream of input has a profound effect on the way we think and feel, often without us even realizing it. Our minds are like sponges, soaking up everything around us, whether we're aware of it or not. And that's why it's so crucial to be intentional about what we allow in. If you're constantly consuming negativity, whether it's through toxic relationships, sensationalized news, or self-doubt, it's only a matter of time before those thoughts begin to take root in your mind. They shape how you see the world, how you see others, and how you see yourself. Negativity breeds more negativity, and soon enough, it starts to limit your ability to think creatively, optimistically, or expansively. It clouds your judgment, narrows your perspective, and stifles your growth. On the other hand, when you intentionally feed your mind with positivity, you create fertile ground for new, empowering thoughts to take shape. The kind of positivity I'm talking about isn't just about slapping a smile on your face or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about cultivating a mindset that focuses on possibilities, solutions, and growth. It's about seeking out information, relationships, and experiences that uplift you, inspire you, and push you toward becoming the best version of yourself. The truth is, you can't expect to live a positive life if you're constantly feeding your mind with negative input. What you allow into your mind determines what you get out of it. Just like you wouldn't expect a plant to thrive if you fed it poison, you can't expect your mind to flourish if you're feeding it doubt, fear, and pessimism. You must be diligent about what you let in, because it's the foundation on which your thoughts and ultimately your life are built. Positivity doesn't just happen, it's something you actively cultivate. It requires effort and commitment, and it begins with the simple choices you make every day. What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you surrounding yourself with? These seemingly small decisions add up and create the landscape of your mind. If you want to change your life, you have to change what you feed your mind. That might mean letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, whether it's the endless cycle of negative news, the limiting beliefs you've held on to for years, or the people in your life who drain your energy. It's about making room for new influences, new voices, and new sources of inspiration that align with the vision you have for yourself. Positivity is contagious, and when you surround yourself with it, your mind starts to shift. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to believe in possibilities that once seemed out of reach. Your thoughts become more solution-oriented, and your energy becomes more focused on growth rather than stagnation. Feeding your mind with positivity also means engaging in practices that reinforce your mental and emotional well-being. It means filling your day with activities that make you feel alive, that give you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Whether it's through meditation, gratitude practices, or simply taking time to reflect on what's going well in your life, these habits become the building blocks of a positive mindset. And the beauty of it is, the more you feed your mind with positivity, the easier it becomes to maintain that outlook, even in the face of challenges. You begin to build mental resilience, the kind that helps you bounce back when things don't go as planned, the kind that keeps you moving forward even when the road is tough. Challenging your assumptions is one of the most powerful ways to break free from the confines of your current mindset. We all live with a set of beliefs, assumptions, and narratives that shape the way we see the world. These assumptions have often been ingrained in us since childhood, reinforced by our families, our environments, and our personal experiences. They become the filter through which we interpret everything, from how we view success to how we define ourselves. The problem is, many of these assumptions are outdated, limiting, or simply untrue. They create invisible barriers that hold us back from thinking bigger, from taking risks, and from seeing possibilities that exist beyond our comfort zone. Assumptions are sneaky in that way. They quietly guide our actions without us even realizing it. We take them as fact, as truth, and we build our lives around them without ever stopping to question if they're really serving us. But to create new thoughts, to truly expand your potential, you must begin by questioning the very foundation of those beliefs. It's about taking a long, hard look at what you've always accepted as true and asking yourself, is this really the way things have to be? Most people never do this because it's uncomfortable. It's unsettling to realize that something you've believed for so long might not be accurate, that the story you've been telling yourself might be holding you back rather than propelling you forward. But it's in that discomfort that growth happens. When you challenge your assumptions, you start to see things from a different perspective. You begin to understand that many of the limitations you face are self imposed, built on the foundation of beliefs that no longer serve who you are or where you want to go. For example, you might assume that you're not capable of achieving a certain goal because you've never done it before. That assumption is based on the past, on what's already happened, rather than on what's possible in the future. But when you challenge that assumption, when you ask yourself, what if that's not true? What if I actually am capable of more than I think? You open the door to new possibilities. You begin to realize that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it can't happen at all. Assumptions are often tied to fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. We assume that certain things aren't possible for us because it's easier to stay in the safety of what we know than to step into the uncertainty of the unknown. But when you challenge those fears, when you confront them head on, you begin to see that many of them are based on false premises. You start to realize that the only way to move forward is to push past the assumptions that keep you tethered to your comfort zone. It's not just about challenging assumptions related to your own abilities or potential, it's also about questioning the assumptions you have about the world around you. We all carry unconscious biases, judgments, and beliefs about how the world works, about other people, about success, about relationships. These assumptions color our interactions and shape the way we navigate life. They create blind spots, limiting our ability to see the full picture, to appreciate diverse perspectives, and to think creatively about solutions to challenges. When you challenge those assumptions, you start to realize that the world is far more complex, nuanced, and full of possibilities than you initially thought. It's about stepping outside of the narrow lens through which you've been viewing life and opening yourself up to new ways of thinking. Sometimes the assumptions we hold are rooted in societal norms or cultural conditioning. We assume that success looks a certain way because that's what we've been taught. We assume that our value is tied to external achievements because that's what society rewards. But when you begin to question those deeply ingrained beliefs, you start to understand that success, value, and fulfillment are subjective. They're not one size fits all. You get to define them for yourself based on your own values, your own dreams, and your own truth. And that's where the real transformation begins, when you start to break free from the assumptions that have been shaping your life for so long. Challenging your assumptions also means letting go of the need for certainty. So often, we cling to our beliefs and assumptions because they provide a sense of control, a sense of predictability. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, and holding on too tightly to what we think we know can prevent us from fully embracing the opportunities and growth that come with uncertainty. When you challenge your assumptions, you open yourself up to the possibility that you don't have all the answers, and that's okay. It allows you to be more adaptable, more flexible, and more open to the unexpected. It's a process of unlearning and relearning, of constantly questioning and refining your understanding of the world and your place in it. Challenging your assumptions isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong practice of curiosity, exploration, and humility. It's about being willing to say, I don't know everything, and embracing the journey of discovering more. When you make this a habit, you begin to see that every assumption you challenge brings with it the potential for growth, the opportunity for new insights, and the space for new thoughts to emerge. Breaking the cycle of old thinking is essential if you want to move forward in life and create new opportunities for yourself. We all have patterns of thought that we've carried with us for years, sometimes even decades. These patterns are often rooted in past experiences, deeply ingrained beliefs, or the environment we grew up in. And while they may have served us at one point in time, the truth is, old thinking often becomes a barrier to new possibilities. It traps us in a loop, repeating the same thoughts, the same behaviors, the same outcomes over and over again. Breaking free from that cycle is not easy because it requires a conscious effort to do something different. It requires you to recognize that the way you've been thinking, whether it's about yourself, your goals, or the world around you, might not be the way that will get you where you want to go. Old thinking keeps you stuck in the past. It keeps you tethered to what's familiar, what's comfortable, and what's safe. But comfort and safety aren't the breeding grounds for growth. They don't challenge you. They don't inspire you to think bigger, to take risks, or to push beyond your current limits. Old thinking is like wearing a pair of shoes that are too tight. You might be able to walk in them for a while, but eventually they'll start to hurt. They'll limit your movement. They'll slow you down. And if you keep wearing them, you'll eventually stop moving altogether. That's what old thinking does. It restricts you. It makes it harder for you to see new opportunities, to think creatively, to adapt to change. It keeps you operating within the same narrow framework that you've always known, even when that framework no longer serves you. Breaking the cycle of old thinking means being willing to challenge the very thoughts that have become second nature to you. It means questioning the beliefs you've always held, the assumptions you've always made, and the stories you've always told yourself. It means recognizing that just because you've always thought a certain way doesn't mean you have to continue thinking that way. You have the power to change your mind, to shift your perspective, to open yourself up to new ways of thinking and being. But that requires a level of self-awareness that many people avoid. It's easier to stay in the comfort of old thinking than to confront the possibility that your current mindset is limiting you. Breaking the cycle of old thinking is not about rejecting everything you've ever believed or known. It's about being open to the idea that there might be more. More possibilities, more perspectives, more ways of doing things that you haven't yet considered. It's about being willing to let go of the thoughts that no longer serve you, even if those thoughts have been a part of your identity for a long time. For example, maybe you've always believed that you're not capable of achieving certain goals because of past failures. That belief has become a part of your thinking, and it influences the way you approach new challenges. But what if that belief is outdated? What if your past failures don't define your future success? By holding on to that old way of thinking, you're limiting your ability to see new possibilities and take the steps necessary to achieve your goals. Breaking the cycle of old thinking means recognizing when your thoughts are holding you back and actively choosing to think differently. It's about replacing those limiting beliefs with thoughts that empower you, that encourage you, and that align with the future you want to create. One of the biggest challenges in breaking the cycle of old thinking is that we often don't even realize we're stuck in it. Our thoughts become so habitual, so automatic that we don't stop to question them. We assume that because we've always thought a certain way, it must be true. But the reality is, many of our thoughts are just patterns that can be broken if we choose to do so. It's about becoming more conscious of your thoughts, paying attention to the way you think, and being intentional about shifting those thoughts when they no longer serve you. Old thinking can show up in many different ways. It can be the voice of doubt that tells you you're not good enough. It can be the fear that keeps you from taking risks. It can be the scarcity mindset that makes you believe there's not enough to go around. It can be the belief that change is too hard, too uncomfortable, or too risky. But when you break the cycle of old thinking, you begin to see that those thoughts are not facts. They're just patterns. And like any pattern, they can be changed. Breaking the cycle of old thinking also means being willing to step into the unknown. Old thinking is often rooted in a desire for control and predictability. We hold on to our old thoughts because they give us a sense of certainty, even if that certainty is limiting. But growth happens in the unknown. It happens when you're willing to take a step forward, even when you don't have all the answers. It happens when you trust that new ways of thinking will lead to new possibilities, even if you can't see those possibilities yet. Breaking the cycle of old thinking requires courage. It requires the willingness to be uncomfortable, to sit with uncertainty, and to embrace the unknown. But on the other side of that discomfort is growth. On the other side of that uncertainty is the potential for new thoughts, new ideas, and new ways of being that can transform your life. Breaking the cycle of old thinking is not something that happens overnight. It's a process. It's something you have to commit to every single day. It's about being aware of when old thoughts are creeping in and making the conscious choice to think differently. It's about surrounding yourself with new influences, new experiences, and new perspectives that challenge your old way of thinking. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. Your mind begins to adapt to the new patterns of thought. And before you know it, those new thoughts become your default. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw limitations. You begin to believe in yourself in ways you never thought possible. You begin to take action in alignment with the new vision you have for your life. Breaking the cycle of old thinking is about freeing yourself from the mental constraints that have been holding you back and stepping into a new way of thinking that empowers you to create the life you truly desire. Embracing curiosity and exploration is one of the most powerful ways to unlock new thoughts and break free from the limitations of old thinking. Curiosity is the spark that ignites the desire to learn, to grow, and to discover what lies beyond the familiar. It's the inner drive that pushes you to ask questions, to seek out new information, and to challenge the status quo. When you cultivate curiosity, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities because curiosity leads to exploration and exploration leads to discovery. It's about more than just acquiring new knowledge. It's about expanding your mind, broadening your perspective, and allowing yourself to see things in ways you never have before. Curiosity is what moves you from stagnation to growth, from complacency to innovation, and from limitation to endless potential. When you embrace curiosity, you begin to approach life with a sense of wonder, as if everything is new and full of potential. You start to question the things you've always taken for granted. Why do things work the way they do? Why do you believe the things you believe? What if things could be different? These questions are the gateway to new thoughts because they force you to move beyond the surface and dive deeper into the unknown. Curiosity opens the door to the possibility that there's more to life, more to you, more to your future than you've previously imagined. It encourages you to step outside of your comfort zone, to seek out new experiences, and to explore new ways of thinking and being. It invites you to challenge the limitations of your current knowledge and embrace the idea that there is always more to learn, more to discover, more to understand. Exploration is the natural companion to curiosity because once you've asked the questions, you need to be willing to go out and find the answers. Exploration is about venturing into new territory, both mentally and physically. It's about seeking out new experiences that challenge your current way of thinking and push you to expand your horizons. When you embrace exploration, you begin to actively look for opportunities to grow and learn. You become more open to new ideas, new perspectives, and new possibilities. You start to see the world as a vast landscape of opportunity, full of places to explore and things to discover. Exploration doesn't have to be grand or adventurous. It can be as simple as reading a book on a topic you've never considered before, having a conversation with someone who has a different perspective, or trying something new that you've never done before. The beauty of curiosity and exploration is that they feed each other. The more curious you become, the more you want to explore, and the more you explore, the more curious you become. This cycle of curiosity and exploration creates a momentum that keeps you moving forward, always seeking out new ways to think, new ways to grow, and new ways to grow, and new ways to challenge yourself. It breaks the monotony of old thinking and opens up space for creativity and innovation. It allows you to see the world not as a fixed set of circumstances, but as a constantly evolving landscape full of endless possibilities. Curiosity also helps you become more adaptable and resilient. When you're curious, you're not afraid of the unknown because you see it as an opportunity for growth and discovery. You're more willing to take risks, to try new things, and to step outside of your comfort zone because you're driven by the desire to learn and explore. This willingness to embrace the unknown makes you more flexible in the face of challenges, more open to change, and more capable of finding creative solutions to problems. Curiosity encourages you to see setbacks and failures not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn something new. It shifts your mindset from one of fear and limitation to one of possibility and growth. Exploration, too, builds resilience because it forces you to step into unfamiliar territory and face the challenges that come with it. When you explore new ideas, new environments, or new experiences, you inevitably encounter uncertainty, discomfort, and even failure. But it's through these challenges that you grow. Exploration teaches you to navigate the unknown with confidence, to embrace the discomfort of not having all the answers, and to persist in the face of obstacles. It reminds you that growth happens not in the safety of what's familiar, but in the uncertainty of the unknown. Embracing curiosity and exploration also helps you to break free from the confines of fixed thinking. When you're curious, you're not satisfied with the status quo. You're always looking for new ways to challenge your assumptions, to question what you've always believed, and to think outside the box. Curiosity pushes you to seek out different perspectives, to explore new ideas, and to be open to change. It encourages you to see the world not as a set of limitations, but as a playground of possibilities. When you explore, you're actively engaging with the world around you in a way that stretches your mind and opens you up to new ways of thinking. You start to see connections between things you never noticed before. You begin to understand that there are many ways to approach a problem, many ways to achieve a goal, and many ways to live a fulfilling life. The more you embrace curiosity and exploration, the more you'll find that your thoughts begin to evolve. You'll start to notice that your mind becomes more flexible, more open, and more creative. You'll begin to think in ways you never thought possible because you've allowed yourself the freedom to explore new ideas and challenge old ones. Curiosity and exploration don't just expand your knowledge, they expand your potential. They unlock new ways of seeing the world and new ways of understanding yourself. They allow you to break free from the limitations of your current thinking and step into a future full of possibility. Curiosity also leads to deeper self-awareness. When you're curious about the world, you naturally become more curious about yourself. You begin to question your own thoughts, your own beliefs, and your own behaviors. You start to explore your own motivations, your own desires, and your own fears. This kind of self-exploration is crucial for personal growth because it helps you to understand who you are, what you want, and what's holding you back. Curiosity about yourself allows you to identify the patterns of thinking and behavior that no longer serve you, and it gives you the insight you need to create new, more empowering thoughts. It's through this process of self-exploration that you can begin to transform your life from the inside out. Embracing curiosity and exploration also fosters a sense of connection and empathy. When you're curious about the world, you naturally become more curious about the people in it. You start to seek out different perspectives, to listen more deeply, and to understand the experiences of others. Exploration allows you to step outside of your own bubble and engage with the world in a way that fosters connection and understanding. It helps you to see the world from different angles, to appreciate the diversity of thought and experience, and to develop a greater sense of empathy for those around you. This kind of curiosity-driven connection can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships because it's rooted in a genuine desire to understand and learn from others. Curiosity and exploration are not just about seeking out new information, they're about creating a mindset of growth, openness, and possibility. They're about constantly challenging yourself to think differently, to question the world around you, and to embrace the unknown with excitement rather than fear. When you cultivate curiosity and embrace exploration, you create an environment in which new thoughts can flourish, and you set yourself on a path of continuous growth and transformation. In our journey to force ourselves to create new thoughts, we embark on a path of transformation and growth. Embracing this journey means recognizing the power we hold to shape our own reality by challenging old patterns and inviting new ways of thinking into our lives. By surrounding ourselves with different thinkers, we infuse our perspectives with fresh insights and diverse ideas, breaking free from the constraints of homogeneous thought. Feeding our minds with positivity becomes the nourishment that fuels our potential, pushing us beyond the boundaries of negativity and self-doubt. Challenging our assumptions involves questioning long-held beliefs and opening ourselves to the possibility that there are more expansive and empowering truths waiting to be discovered. Breaking the cycle of old thinking is about releasing ourselves from outdated mental patterns that limit our growth and instead embracing curiosity and exploration as the driving forces behind our evolution. Curiosity ignites our desire to learn and discover, while exploration allows us to venture beyond our comfort zones and experience the richness of new perspectives. Practicing mental flexibility equips us with the ability to adapt and innovate, enabling us to navigate life's complexities with resilience and creativity. As we integrate these practices into our lives, we cultivate a mindset that thrives on change and possibility. We become architects of our own destiny, continuously building upon our knowledge and understanding to create a future that reflects our highest aspirations. Embracing new thoughts is not a destination, but a dynamic, ongoing process of growth and self-discovery. It's about daring to think differently, challenging the familiar, and remaining open to the infinite potential that lies beyond our current understanding. By committing to this journey, we transform not only our own lives, but also the impact we have on those around us. We become catalysts for positive change, inspiring others to question, explore, and grow alongside us. In doing so, we create a ripple effect of transformation that extends far beyond ourselves, contributing to a world where new ideas and innovative thinking pave the way for a brighter, more empowered future.